It began as most revolutions do, quietly, not with explosions or dramatic proclamations, but with the scratch of a pen on paper, the faint hum of an experiment, and a single man's obsession with unlocking the secrets of the universe. Holsten, whose name would later be etched into history as the father of the atomic age, never set out to change the world. He simply wanted to understand it. Holsten's laboratory was modest, cluttered with the detritus of years spent chasing ideas that others dismissed as impossible. On the day he made his breakthrough, the rain pattered softly against the windows, as if the universe itself were holding its breath. He had been working on atomic theory for decades, building on the ideas of those who came before him. But this was something entirely new. As he stared at the results of his experiment, the realization struck him like a thunderclap. "I've done it," he whispered, though there was no one there to hear him. Holsten's discovery, the concept itself, was simple, elegant even. Atoms, those invisible building blocks of the universe, contained an unimaginable amount of energy. If one could release that energy in a controlled manner, it would revolutionize the world. For Holsten, the implications were staggering. Entire cities powered by a single atom's worth of fuel. Machines that could run indefinitely. The end of scarcity, poverty, and perhaps even war. At first, the world greeted his discovery with awe. Newspapers hailed him as a genius, a modern-day Prometheus who had brought the fire of the gods to humanity. But not everyone shared the optimism. Some, like me, saw the darker possibilities. If this energy could be used to light homes and power factories, what was to stop it from being turned into a weapon? A bomb that could level entire cities in an instant? Holsten himself seemed torn. In public, he spoke of the wonders his discovery could bring, painting visions of a utopian future. But in private, he was more subdued. I remember one conversation in particular, when I asked him if he believed humanity was ready for such power. "Ready," he said, his gaze distant. "No, but we never are. Progress doesn't wait for us to be ready. It drags us along, kicking and screaming." Holsten's discovery spread like wildfire. Within months, scientists around the world were replicating his experiments, eager to harness the atom's power for themselves. Governments took notice too, pouring money and resources into research programs. The possibilities seemed endless, and for a while, the world was swept up in a wave of optimism. Cities began converting to atomic energy, their smokestacks replaced by clean, silent reactors. The economy boomed, fueled by the promise of unlimited power. It felt as though humanity had entered a golden age. But beneath the surface, tensions were already simmering. The problem was not the technology itself, it was the people wielding it. Nations vied for dominance, each seeking to claim atomic energy as its own. Political alliances shifted, and whispers of war grew louder. The same power that promised to unite humanity was driving it further apart. The turning point came when the first atomic bomb was tested. It was not Holsten's doing. He had tried to distance himself from military applications of his work. But the genie was out of the bottle. I remember seeing the footage of the test. A blinding flash of light, followed by a towering mushroom cloud. It was beautiful in a way, but also horrifying. In that moment, it became clear that humanity had gained the power to destroy itself. Holsten was devastated. He gave a speech shortly after the test, pleading with world leaders to exercise restraint. "You do not understand the forces you are playing with," he said, his voice trembling with emotion. "This power was meant to set us free, not to destroy us." But his words fell on deaf ears. The arms race had begun, and there was no turning back. By the end of the first phase of the atomic age, the world had changed beyond recognition. Cities gleamed with the light of atomic power, their streets buzzing with new technologies. Yet fear hung in the air like a storm cloud. Everyone knew that the same energy powering their homes could one day obliterate them. Holsten retreated into obscurity, his once celebrated name now a symbol of humanity's ambivalence toward progress. When I saw him years later, he seemed a shadow of his former self. Do you regret it? I asked him. He hesitated for a long time before answering. No, he said quietly. The power itself is not the problem. The problem is us. His words stayed with me, a haunting reminder of the paradox at the heart of progress. We create tools to improve our lives, but we also create the means to destroy them. And so, we stand on the edge of a knife, caught between hope and despair. The seeds of the atomic age had been sown, but the harvest was yet to come. As nations armed themselves with weapons of unimaginable power, it became clear that the world was hurtling toward a moment of reckoning. Would we use this newfound energy to build a brighter future, or would we succumb to our baser instincts and unleash destruction on an unprecedented scale? The answer, as always, lay in the hands of humanity. In the next part of this story, the fragile peace shatters. Rival nations ignite a conflict that will forever change the course of history. The war to end all wars begins, and with it, the flames of Holsten's discovery consume the